Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the North American Challenger League. I am Reed Rapid Melton, and joining me for the last game of the night is Chris Studio Grant. We'll be bringing you guys vVv versus LoLPro, and we've had so many best games of the night, especially that last game. While you guys might not have expected a whole lot from Super Subs NA, holy cow, is that a game. And especially impressed by Hashinshin. Haven't seen that guy in professional play for a very long time, but did a really good job. So nice to see even some of the superstars of solo queue on the Super Team NA really making that game exciting.
I mean, Hashinshin, he's got an age-old name, but not so much, I'd say, in public, but definitely it's someone known in Challenger, someone known just in high elo for some of his shenanigans. And it was really cool to see how well it worked out and how well just what was essentially 5 random guys doing versus the number 1 ranked team in NACL.
That's pretty impressive, but we'll have some announcements regarding Super Team NA and their spot coming up maybe a little bit later on. So stay tuned to NACL Esports on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. And once again, if you guys are looking for VODs of any of tonight's games, head over to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/NACL Esports. But with that, we're getting into our last game of the night. Picks and bans underway. The vVv take on LoLPro.
And Pantheon Cassidy being banned out by vVv, Vision Valid Victory. Don't want to deal with that. Of course, Cassidy is at late game time bomb in Pantheon. He's the early to mid game reliable initiation. Lulu and Nidalee being banned out as well. So lots of mid-aimed bans. It definitely has always been a huge part of the team. But right now, I think a lot of people feel mid laners definitely cause a lot of the snowballs. So banning out people like Nidalee, Lulu, and LeBlanc that can very easily control a game on their own, it makes a lot of sense. And of course, at least that last ban, that really high tier, a reliable jungler being banned out.
All right, and with the Pantheon ban, I don't think there's any surprises there. Every single Pantheon we've seen today has just been absolutely on point, especially Pat in that last game, getting his sort of trademark champion now, just going off.
He was carrying them for a while. He was the savior of Curse Academy.
He definitely made that rough early mid-game a little bit easier to handle and help facilitate their win. Well, no Pantheons out to here today, and a lot of mid lane folks is Lulu, Nidalee, Cassidy, and LeBlanc out there. So what are we going to see from mid lanes here from LoLPro? Jackie already had one good game as LeBlanc, so we'll have to see if he brings out his trademark Ziggs. That's kind of what I'm looking for here. But first pick Gragas out there for Chris, locking that one in. I don't know, Peckinwolf, like I said, his Nidalee is probably more impressive than anything else to watch, but Gragas, he's still got his place there in the mid lane.
Oh yeah, I mean, Peckinwolf played a pretty phenomenal Gragas in game 1 of tonight. And it was, I believe, him versus Cognitive, and he was actually able to escape from the blue side jungle of Cognitive all the way through the red side jungle out towards the Dragon Pit. So like that is his comfort on the champion. He knows how to juke, he knows how to make the fat man work, so I do like that pick. It's definitely on the comfier side. He does have some, I'd say, counters. For example, Yasuo can deal with him quite well, but do they expect that to be picked up by LoLPro? Or, yeah, by LoLPro, it's not the most common pickup for them. Exactly,
especially not for Jackie. Jackie is almost strictly AP player. He plays, I think Zed and Kha'Zix are his 2 ADs, but I don't think he's quite grabbed Yasuo professionally yet. So we'll have to watch out for that. Like I said, expecting the Ziggs pick, but he might save that one for last just because there's no hurry on picking that. Or you can pick it up and then maybe give a counter pick to maybe your AD carry or something like that. But with the bottom lane still having yet to be locked in for Lod and Low already having one great game on Sona. Locking it in again.
There we go. That is his trademark champion, of course, Light of Heaven. He played that zone for quite a while. That was actually drawing him bans towards the beginning of the NACL. I think it slipped through once or twice outside of tonight, but overall it's definitely been denied on him quite often. Not only is that being looked at, but I think that's all for naught, as Jace's been looked at by Chris one more time. So there are 2 factors to this. A, that he already played it today and it worked out quite well, and 2, he's been playing a lot in solo queue as well.
Yeah, I got a chance to check out his stream the other day, and it was Debonair, Jace, or Riot pretty much the entire time, and I was like, wait a second, you can't be serious, and he was, and he really was. It was really impressive to watch him play, not only in the first game that vVv played here tonight, but if you guys want to watch more of that, definitely check out, I think it's twitch.tv/lolchris, if you guys want to check more of that out. Debonair, Jace play, not something you see a lot of anymore, and as somewhat a niche pickup, I think Zig brought it out on email support, and then Much to Learn did it mid lane on email support. So
there was also, I think, back in like early season 3, we see Jace everywhere, then also AD carry Jace for a while. But what I'm really excited for is an old age matchup, which is Renekton versus Jace. That used to be the Jace-centric. Jace destroyed Renekton, and this was Renekton was very popular, but Jace was also super overpowered. Yeah. Jace has since been nerfed and is no longer super overpowered. He's actually kind of balanced. And Renekton is also very popular right now, so maybe that meta might shift back. We might go back to the old school, which does seem to happen every now and then.
I don't know. We'll see how that Jace works out. It is locked in, and saving the last pick for jungle on vVv, they're going to grab away that Lee Sin. So, like I said, probably, yeah, Lee Sin in the jungle, Jace up top, and switching, of course, that Gragas to the mid lane. Whereas, like I said, LoLPro, this is pretty much picture-perfect LoLPro. They gave Haunter one of his sort of signature top lane champions in Renekton. You got Vi jungle, Jackie just going for his trademark, Ziggs in the mid lane, and then the same bottom lane from LoLPro that we've seen game after game after game. They played this all weekend long at GotaCon, and now they're just bringing it back a couple times here in NACL, and I don't know, with as many comfort picks right back and forth between both teams,
it's hard to call, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Hard to call. Both of these teams kind of in the middle of the pack right now. vVv started off rough at like 1-3, and then went on like a 4-game winning streak and looking very good coming into tonight's game. LoLPro getting back from a little bit of traveling and a couple of LAN finals and coming off of victories both at GotaCon and in NACS. Looking strong coming into tonight's games. But we're going to have to take a quick commercial break before we get into tonight's games. So make sure you stick around and check out our sponsors. You can see them right down below the screen. Check out LoLClass by clicking on the logo right down below. Head over to lolclass.com where you can sign up for a very affordable lesson, some of your favorite LCS pros teaching you how to play some of their favorite champions. So definitely check them out. Make sure to click on the little bird Jesus icon down there and head over to phoenixcollection.com. There you can check out Phoenix peripherals and all sorts of gaming gear that they make. It's really, really well crafted. Mice, keyboards, headsets, and mouse pads. All of which you can find, once again, over at phoenixcollection.com.
And, of course, there is going to be Loot Crate, where for $13.37 a month, you can get a crate of loot sent straight to your door. It contains, a random assortment of nerd swag, apparel, just lots of cool things you can get. For example, there's a chance you'll get a Attack on Titanfall t-shirt, which will either have a Titanfall or Attack on Titan theme. So anime or sci-fi or normal sci-fi. Kind of your call on that one, but overall, Loot Crate sends you very awesome stuff, very surprising stuff, as it crates are random every time, and it's only $13.37 a month, so go ahead, check them out. But with that, we've got vVv going up against LoLPro. We're going to take a quick commercial break here at the NACL, but we'll be right back with their game.
Those nights when we were younger and we would never sleep. So let's forget about tomorrow and live for tonight while we're free. Touch the sky. Tonight we're coming alive. Touch the sky. Tonight we're coming alive. From the dust we will awaken, and life will fill our veins. But these are the moments that we live for. touch the sky. Tonight we're coming alive.
Well, hello there, everybody, and welcome back to the North American Challenger League. I'm Rapid. I'm here with Studio. I want to welcome you back to the last game of the night. So thanks for sticking around. If you've been here with us for all 5 games tonight, well, thank you very much, and make sure to tune in for 5 more games coming your way tomorrow. But for the last game here, vVv in the blue on the left-hand side of your screen, LoLPro in the red on the right. And when we talk about these two teams facing off against one another, it's a matchup we haven't seen in a long time because LoLPro have been away. But coming back, already getting their first win of the night. We'll see what they can do here against vVv.
I mean, yeah, vVv, they've definitely been streaky. They had a huge winning streak recently. That did get broken, of course, but both sides, they're in that middle of the pack position where you don't really know who's going to take it. Both vVv and LoLPro have had their down games. They also have generally, I'd say, really strong upswings, though. And if LoLPro won their last game and vVv won their last game, I would love to see them just duke it out at their maximum level. I think LoLPro, when they're on point, they are on point, one of the top teams. vVv, they tend to have a little bit less, I'd say, consistency, but their strategies tend to be a little bit more unique. For example, Jace top. And if that Jace does work out, that Jace can beat down the Gator, then that could be huge. We did not see Jace versus Renekton earlier on because Cognitive actually lane swapped that out, so the matchup could not occur. So let's actually see how the matchup has evolved as Tails might spot out LOH.
And I think people actually forgot how bad that matchup is for Renekton, because when you honestly expect to play against the Jace, it's a weird matchup, but like you mentioned earlier, it is one that Jace does very, very well against. And while the meta's changed a little bit since we've seen that matchup before, this time around should be a 1v1, so it'll be a nice opportunity to finally sort of refresh our memories on how exactly that works out. But with the minions in the lanes and the champions in there as well, junglers, of course, in the jungle, it'll be bottom side starts for both junglers, looking for maybe early top or mid lane pressure.
I would expect a lot of top lane pressure because whoever gets that first kill can definitely dictate the lane. And someone like Vi can easily gank a Jace, someone like Lee Sin can easily gank a Renekton. Both sides can set up so many consistent ganks for each other that it's really a rough time for both sides.
All right, so starting things off, junglers, Lee Sin just a little bit faster than Heaven Time. Yeah, when Heaven Time, I was looking at the way he started that off because I was like, okay, well, why is he so much slower? He's actually taking the Wolf Camp, whereas Lee Sin actually walked all the way across, and now he's taking the Wolf Camp. So same Wolf Camps, but taken in different order. Lee Sin is actually a lot further ahead in this route than I would have expected. He's going to be able to take that blue, and it's all about, like you said, the first gank top. It really has a lot of snowball potential. That's where we're really going to be looking for both junglers to head up once they do finish their buffs. But with Getsungle a little bit further ahead, could see that really impact wherever the junglers do decide to go. You can see a little bit of early aggression there from Hanser. Not really necessarily paying off because anytime you go aggressive as Renekton, you eventually have to pull back, and that's when the ranged advantage really kicks in for Jace.
Yeah, just going for a little bit of a minion push. If he can get some stray harass right now, it'll be awesome. You can actually see both Lee Sin and Vi gonna meet up in the top lane. Vi hanging out by the turret, not spotted Lee Sin in the river. Not on a ward either, so both sides are unspotted. Hanser going in, though.
Yeah, there's actually Chris hitting in the opposite way. Meanwhile, there's also aggression in the bottom lane. But returning back to top, Chris is going to get pretty low there. Tell he's wearing his, I don't know, apple bottom jeans and the boots with the fur.
But he survives, and that is important. He does not go down. He blows his flashes, ignite the flashes burn early as,
the manly threshold dodge. It takes guts to be that good. Low is just like...
by not moving.
It's like, chill out, I got this. Now, get snuggled. He's going to try to kite this one out. What he needs to do is aggro and then safeguard away to a minion. Immediately tries to get it out there, but first blood now. Chris. He's going to get onto Hanser. Can he deal the damage he needs to? The auto attack and the turret shot. Take him down, but now turret damage and auto attacks from Chris. Onto Heaven Time. Almost take him down, but sweet lord, that was a little bit close. They trade away, kills 1 for 1, but overall, I'd like to see that advantage go to Chris.
Well, LoLPro got the assist onto Renekton, while Vi got the full kill herself. So Chris gets more gold than Hanser. Hanser is behind in lane now. But they did deny a lot of CS top lane, so it's actually still going to be pretty even. But Heaven Time is now farther ahead than gets snuggled. So in terms of top lane, if you're factoring the junglers, it is great for LoLPro. If not, it's actually still pretty even. As Chris will even out the CS difference, but it still has to go back to base and buy, because if not, he'll just be way too far behind Hanser in terms of items to survive up there.
Yeah, now with that top lane out of order, it's going to be all about top lanes, junglers, and usually we see junglers kind of leave those top lanes alone when it's like Shyvana, Renekton, or Dr. Mundo. They're just kind of like, you guys are going to have some fun up there. It's going to be super boring. Ooh, Death Sentence on to Laud, and there's actually going to be the barrier forced out there, and with Get Snuggled coming in from behind, Safeguard to a ward in the brush, Tails actually could go down here solo, but not able to get taken out. Flash forced out by Low, but still a nice kill coming in. vVv now up 2-1.
Unfortunately, Low not actually busting out the heal. Must have not felt it would have actually kept Lucian alive enough to pick up the kill, because Lucian was going to go down there almost no matter what. The full HP Lee Sin could have easily cleaned him up, but it's kind of surprising not to see the heal burn, but I guess just did not think he could actually get that kill or survive long enough without the heal. Now, top lane, this will be interesting because we have the tier already built by Chris. Tier, in general, it's kind of a weak laning item because it doesn't provide you any stats. If Renekton goes all in, Chris has great, more mana,
You're
not
like,
useful.
Tier, save me.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I only provide 700 gold worth of mana stats, and I don't think Renekton cares too much about how much mana you have.
That was good. That was solid. The slice and then redice after getting knocked back, but Chris does take advantage of the trade. Of course, Renekton does have that sustain. But the thing is, because Jace is so dependent on mana, he is a very, very mana-intensive champion. That tier will give him a lot more options to actually keep poking down Hanser. So it's going to be more about Hanser when he does go in, if he can really out-trade Chris. Which, even though he got that really good slice and dice combination earlier, the trade still didn't really go in his favor. So it's going to be rough for Hanser up here. Jace definitely has a lot of control if you can maintain his cooldowns and really abuse his range.
And you can see Chris doing just that. He's getting off free auto attacks, trying to get that harass in there. Shock blasts are landing, but at the same time, I almost feel like Hanser is just going to go back and buy a chain vest, and at that point, what do you really do as Jace? So you can try to farm out the lane and maybe get on towards Last Whisper or Black Cleaver, but that's going to be a long time coming.
Of course, Murray mana, it will be huge on him, but that is much later on. That is something that you buy now and plan for later, but I mean, the tier, once you get some good offense, Jace is awesome, but the tier is just not going to do a whole lot for him besides let him cast his spells, which is quite a bit on its own.
And already you can see Chris maybe starting to fall behind in the sustain war, which is something Renekton does have an advantage in, just because he is melee, and it's just going to take more damage. So
I mean, he's melee, he's got the sustain on Cold and Meek, he's got a little bit more beefiness. Jace's stats are not solid for being a tanky champion.
Yeah, he's definitely meant to be more of that poke and sort of like burst assassin than any sort of like, hey, I'm going to win it next year.
Yeah. But you can see across the map, definitely advantage going to LoLPro, as they do have some CS advantage. Bot lane going quite well for them as well. It's been kind of even, but Lucian's is pushing in a ton, and there's not really good response. Kayla did not pick up the kill. That actually went to get snuggled, so the question is, you can get snuggled, go ahead, get snuggled with some of the laners on LoLPro, and just start converting that kill into more ganks.
All right, Hanser continually getting these attempted, I don't know if I want to call them like all-ins, but you have to be careful about trading because Chris really, okay, that's a little bit rough. Ward not going to scout anything out there in that brush, but still Chris, you can see, he's just waiting until they both get very low, and then Renekton has to try to run, but Chris has the range advantage to take him out, so.
And Hanser is doing just kind of like the Renekton slice-in combo out.
Oh, and a nice bounce-back combo there from Jackie. Body slam defensively will avoid that bouncing bomb.
Yeah, this has been a terrible lane for Peck and Wolf. He's not super far behind. He's down by about 11 CS, but it is a noticeable disadvantage. Oh, they're going to take this blue buff. They might take out Get Snuggled as well.
Smite away, but there's the lockup, knockdown, Get Snuggled very, very low. Dragon's Rage does get some distance, but with a bouncing bomb over the wall. Did Jackie flash for that? Yeah, he did. Picks up a kill, so nice one on that, and will pick himself up that buff as well. I think he got the buff. Yeah, all right, so transfer completed now, but Tails continuing to push out that bottom lane. It's going to get pushed in here. Has to be careful. Gaunty may be able to put some pressure back, but Tails not having a good time in this lane. He's down about 10 CS and really just too much pressure.
Yeah, it's the constant push and pressure onto Caitlyn. Because Lucian is such a strong burst caster, and LOH provides a lot of constant harass and sustain on Sona. It's constant pressure that makes it hard for Caitlyn to really survive the lane. It's a good 2v2, and really Sona is someone who people tend to forget how to play against, both as a support and an AD carry, because she's so uncommon, but that high pressure she'll really provide with Power Chord and Hymn of Valor Burst, it's really, really damaging. It is really hard to deal with. Even someone like Thresh, if you catch his burst damage on cooldown, you can go ahead and punish him incredibly hard. He doesn't have to respond unless he runs a death sentence.
All right, now with things starting to heat up, we've seen kills across the map and everything relatively even, but a 2,000 gold lead there for LoLPro, and it's not even off dragons or anything. It's just, kill and assist advantages, and of course CS in lane. So LoLPro just kind of getting the passive advantage before they really take an active advantage in any sort of team fight.
And actually, Flay coming forward onto LOH. LOH just flashed to the
Wait,
side, expected the
wow.
death sentence, but it didn't come out. So there goes the flash, there goes the ult. Here comes Get Snuggled.
Oh, Low. Sonic Wave does not connect, but yeah, Low's just going to walk back in a turret. He's out of there, taking the hard way back to base. So he does wind up going down, and to be honest, it was a nice double crescendo there, but somebody really had to sacrifice themselves in that fight, and looks like Lod got the free ticket out of there.
I mean, LOH, Law, he had his plan was, all right, they're going to death sentence me right now. I got to get out of here now. Flash to the side, but the flash to the side, death sentence didn't even come out. He didn't wait for the animation, got a little bit too nervous then. It really punished him. Resonating Strike does land onto Ziggs. Not going to follow that up, though. Just a bit too dangerous.
Ooh, Gonti was forced to flash there, though, so.
And no Dragon Rage as well for that. And Gonti, he's low on HP. He was going to get taken down the second he got CC'd at all.
Everybody know Gonti's still here, but Get Snuggled still isn't. Oh, there he does reveal himself. Not sure he really wanted to go in on that. The double buffs for Heaven Time, really scary.
Now, that actually gave a chance for Pekka to go ahead and get some farm in the mid lane, as he really has been kind of like just batted around. Still down 14 CS. Ziggs will take a CS lead if he starts using his ultimate to farm other lanes. And actually, you can see Vi barely missing that Vault Breaker onto Lee Sin. So that last second safeguard to keep him out of there, keep him in safety.
Oh, and you can see Chris trying to get in there for the trades, but Haunter just straight up wins those trades. Chris is not playing for the early game, and Renekton a very strong early game champion. You're going to expect to see Chris not look too happy up there for another, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. Eventually, it will actually make its way back, and Chris's poke damage will be super great in these long, drawn-out 5v5 engagements. But he's going to have to bide his time until then, and in the meantime, you can see a strong CS advantage for Haunter.
Haunter's actually looking for it. He could not necessarily dive him, but he can try and take him down low. If he gets a Cold Meek, if he gets a stun, then dashes out, that sets up a kill for later. But Pekka did roam from the mid lane, which will scare Haunter out of the top side of the map, not wanting to dive a Jace with Gragas nearby, because that will go horribly, horribly wrong for him quite quickly.
All right, so first Dragon of the game, I believe, did go to LoLPro, and you can see them off the back of that just wanting a fast trip back to base, and some piercing light there from Lod will try to facilitate them. The flash in, there's the death sentence, and Sonic Wave lands that time. Low, not having a good time there in that lane. Everybody gets an assist. Assists for all, and some gold there as well.
I mean, these kills, they're killing Low, actually dive onto Chris in the top lane. Flashes over the wall, he might get out of this.
Great flash, but he's out of mana. He's going to get some extra move speed. Barely has enough mana for the knockback on Haunter. Not sure why he's running up instead of just... Okay, well, Jackie was going to cut him off anyway. Gets that acceleration gate, and with the continual transformation, he actually may... Okay, Haunter finally catches up to him. Hops up in his lifeguard chair. I don't think he's doing too good of a job of lifeguard. Unless maybe Chris is a shark.
Yeah, taken out. It's some weird kind of West Side Story type thing where one gang is called the Sharks. But Chris taking out in the top lane. This is the effectiveness of Vi, especially with Renekton, and this is where Jay starts to fall apart. He's so squishy. He's got a mana moon. He's very bursty. He's got good damage, but playing Jace, he doesn't have any HP to back that up. And he's not going to really for most of the game. He might eventually get one tank out of it.
Well, he's going up against a Sunfire Cape Renekton. Like, he's going to have Ninja Tabby too here in not too long.
Renekton will be tanky and will not die, and more importantly, by going for the burst build means that those dives are even more effective. That Spirit of the Lizard Elder makes her just super effective when you have someone like Renekton to tank up as you go for the Assault and Battery into Vault Breaker, just like super stun combo.
Now, what I would have rather seen from Chris is maybe instead of completing that Mana Moon, you go straight for like a Brutalizer instead, because you're already going to be putting all of that magic or armor penetration to use, so it's not really a big surprise to build magic resistance against that. Ultimate actually used in the mid lane, Jackie throwing out the Mega Inferno Bomb to try to catch out Peckinwolf, wasn't able to. But
I mean, Peckinwolf, he's now in danger of dying. You can see Heaven Time, his ultimate's already almost back up. Not quite yet.
Explosive cast, not into turret range. Peckin is almost certainly dead. Flash over the wall, the slow power cord is there. Dodges away from the Ardent Blaze. The culling coming out, but the Wraith Camp, they betray his position. Now Chris going to try to fight out Haunter, but once again, just does not deal damage.
Yeah, Haunter just walking away from him. That's his big defense. Oh, you're hitting me. Let me just... All right, I'll casually strut away as he tosses out the damage. Peckinwolf, I mean, he was looking for that possible engage. Gragas does have really high sustained damage, and Ziggs is a very squishy champion. But walking into the enemy team like that, a little bit unfortunate. He was waiting for the body slam of the wall.
Chris. Gonna have to play that matchup very, very carefully. Anytime you don't have your crushing blow, every time you're not able to knock somebody away from you, the engage potential is always really scary. Especially as a sort of a ranged melee hybrid champion, you don't want to go up against those big tanky bruisers like Renekton.
You can see top turret already being sacrificed. Chris just cannot hold the line. This is incredibly good for LoLPro because if Renekton gets far enough ahead, then Jace just won't be relevant because he'll be denied so much CS. You can already see Renekton taking that advantage. And Renekton can actually just sit in lane and keep on killing him. There's nothing to really stop him. You'll note that this is not a standard Renekton build. He did not go for the Tiamat. He did not go for his Hydra just because he doesn't need it. He just needs his raw base values, and he can just keep killing Jace with that, or punishing him at least. Ultimate is used by Ziggs on the top lane, trying to steal the blue buff. Does that secure it? No, not quite securing it himself. The blue buff will be staying in the hands of vVv.
And Tails also picking up a red buff now. He's going to do double golems, walk back down bottom lane to farm. Lod is back in base. He just now picked up that Bloodthirster and then a pickaxe on top of that. So AD carry is probably the most even lane of all when you consider things. Top lane, sizable 40 CS lead there for Haunter. He's definitely been dominating that out. Has his turret as well. And with things actually just looking good for LoLPro across the board, it's really hard-pressed to see a lane for vVv that really had that solid advantage, other than, of course, those kills on the Caitlyn.
Yeah, those kills on Caitlyn, too, they're not really putting her ahead, mostly putting her even. Their kills onto Sona, which means Lucian's still been farming it up. Actually, Ziggs really dominating the mid lane as well. All lanes have been losing for vVv. Even though they're getting kills onto Caitlyn, it's at the expense of constant ganks from Get Suckled.
Wow, Chris actually starting to deal some damage in there. He's also just now picked up his Ionian Boots of Lucidity, so that's actually a lot of CDR. He's going blue build Jace this time, which is, it's pretty cool to watch, but it's going to take some time to get going.
Yeah, his Shock Blast right now, even with Acceleration Gate, do decent damage. Actually, a lot of damage going on in the mid turret.
Get Snuggle. I mean, he did not safeguard out of there when he was supposed to, and took a little bit of pain for it. Shock Blast continuing to come out there, and while Jace may not be fully powered up in any of his big item builds, still hurts squishies, and Jackie has a lot of magic resist, but not a whole lot of armor.
Yeah, he's got really decent burst from range. It's not Nidalee Spears, it's not a high AP Ziggs Bomb, but for this point in the game, it will help burst down the squishies. The problem is going to be that he can't really do that in lane reliably. And he doesn't have mana sustain. Like, Tyr is a lot of mana. Mana Moon is a lot of mana. It is not a lot of mana regeneration. And you can see it in his the mana he has left over. He will go out of mana incredibly quickly despite having that Tyr, despite having that Mana Moon. That's just how Jace works. He will just burn through all of his mana despite the fact that you buy mana items on him. And it makes him hard to play. It means he needs blue buff, but that's going to Gragas at the moment, as Gragas himself is also very mana intensive. I would expect later on to eventually see blue buff show up on Jace rather than Gragas, just because Gragas will have the Athenes. But in the early game, Jace is just so dependent on mana, and they could not take this dragon right now on vVv because Jace will not be able to cast more than 2 spells in a fight.
All right, now Dragon is being done. Anytime you try to take an objective against the Gragas, it's always a little bit risky, and especially Lee Sin not able to get in there now. There's going to be some dunks down, but a nice... Oh, there's actually the burst down, catching out Heaven Time. He will fall. It's a 1 for none. Gets snuggled, gets out, and we snuggling up to that Thresh Lantern out of there.
I mean, still in favor of LoLPro, but hey, it's shutting down the jungler, getting some kills. Definitely nice for vVv, who've been struggling to find really a whole lot of anything, and they do take out the top turret, as Jace is an excellent tower pusher. He will outpush any of the other bruisers top lane, besides Nasus, just because, well, he actually builds AD. He essentially is going to be a little bit less efficient, but still in that same vein, AD carry. Haunter can try and chase him down. Chris just doesn't have any mana to fight this back. Might have 1 knockback.
Yeah, and he will have that knockback. Hits him backwards and should be able to disengage from this pretty effectively. But that's the second dragon in a row for LoLPro. They've got a lockdown on these global objectives, and while the lanes and the actual champion kills may be being traded back and forth, sooner or later, the dragons take over. They're giving them a 2,000 gold lead right now, 2 or 3, depending on how you want to count that out. LoLPro, they're definitely not necessarily in the driver's seat, but they're pushing their way into a really good spot for these big mid-game fights. Dragons, sometimes they're what decide these games with some big team fights, but Get Snuggle, it's going to have to... he actually safeguarded to the lantern
there you go,
before he jumped over.
Nice and efficient. Gragas in the middle going to be cut up for a second. Just take some damage, though. By charging the Vault Breaker, though, looking for it. If Peckinwolf stays... There we go.
Oh, Peckinwolf. He almost could have gotten caught out there, especially if there had been like a explosive cast to bounce him... Or not an explosive cast, but a satchel charge.
Yes.
To bounce him back into the team. That could have been scary.
Yeah, they could have chucked him down quite efficiently. Gragas might have been able to body slam out of there, but if they did hit him with the Vault Breaker, then Assault and Battery, that is enough damage with Ziggs follow-up to easily chunk him down. Mid lane, now the pressure out. Both sides will have a lot of trouble pushing versus each other just because Gragas has good wave clear, as well as Caitlyn and Jace. While you look at Ziggs, he is the king of wave clearing at the moment. So it's going to be a hard siege for either side to really make that happen. Expect to look for a lot more poke-oriented sieging, and then to follow that up with maybe a Vault Breaker, Assault and Battery initiation for a LoLPro. Or if it's vVv, they just keep poking out like crazy. Just keep spamming everything because they have so much to spam. This mid turret will be going down most likely, though, actually surviving for a few more seconds, but does finally get taken down.
All right, so I don't think there's a whole lot you could do to kill off that turret, or to keep that turret from wait.
That was the poke. That was the poke.
Oh, Tails trying to kite that out. There's a flash in there. That's so much damage. The Assault and Battery, aptly named, over the wall, taking Tails down. Duo lanes down, and so is Get Snuggled. Chris is going to try to get in there. Gets the Ignite on the Heaven time. Will he go down? Dropping from it last tick. Takes him down, but it's a 4-for-2 exchange. Low, it's actually more like a 4-for-1 because Low died so much earlier.
Yeah, like Low starting out dead in the beginning of the fight, but they spent so much onto him. They actually charged up the ace in the hole from Tails, which is why Hans was able to get so close to him and actually follow up and land that stun. So really surprising initiation from LoLPro, really surprising kill from vVv in the first place, but you know, they stood around for one too many seconds, and that was enough for Tails to go down and vVv to really kind of lose out the initiation fight. Still, you can kind of see the vVv battle plan if LOH is just kind of getting blown off from the side there.
With LOH kind of having a rough game. He's been getting picked off quite a few times. Early lane phase.
Hated,
yeah, no love there for Low. More people laying their hands on him than he is laying on hands.
However, that's okay, because guess what? You're killing the support. That means the rest of the map is doing decently still. And if they spend so many resources blowing up a Sona, that's great. There's less resources to blow up Renekton, less resources to blow up Ziggs. And like they want the Sona ultimate, but if vVv gets out of position to blow up Sona on their own, then that's almost like a good Sona initiation right there. Still though, vVv now fighting back with the siege, trying to go for some more burst, trying to go for some more poke. They don't have very long cooldowns on their ultimates. The longest is going to be the explosive cast on Gragas, and even then he's got cooldown reduction, being that they have a very fightable team. They will often be able to push and kind of fight back, even if they lose an engagement.
Now there's an elixir of fortitude on Chris. He knows that this is going to be the big push, so he wants to make sure he's as strong as possible for it. Assault and Battery's back up for Heaven time. If he wants to go in, he's got the engage, but Paw's coming out now as I think we're going to wait for probably Peckinwolf to come back in here. We've had some issues with him before, but while we wait for everybody to get back in, this is a big tense situation right now, and one in which vVv could use to come back pretty hard if they can get a nice engage, poke down these turrets, really start to get this big global advantage coming back in their direction. But at least for now, I want to say this is vVv's time to shine, but LoLPro, it's hard to count them out.
I mean, Vi's at half HP, so Vi can initiate, but she'll probably die. But the thing is, Jackie is Ziggs. Jackie's got incredible burst. They have a good follow-up from Hanser. It's very, very easy for, actually, back into the game. No initiation quite yet, but if Vi goes in, she'll die, but she might set up the perfect team fight.
Exactly. Somebody's going to have to, take one for the team here, but with the burst continuing to come out, look at that poke from Piltover Peacemakers and those acceleration-gated shock blasts coming in. That's pretty scary if you ask me. So there it is, Assault and Battery right in on there. Heaven time getting on to Peckinwolf. He's going to body slam his way away. Barrel backwards. There's explosive cast to disengage as well. And look at Chris. He's got one. Gets stunned out there by that crescendo, but looking to come back into the fight. It's going to have a little bit of a rough time doing it. Shock Blast will miss. Hanser zoning out very, very well. It's a 1-for-1 so far, but Chris still chasing out.
Peckinwolf trying to stay alive on the backside. Chris takes a lot of poke in response to Ziggs.
Just the tip of that explosive.
That was Pixels. Pixels picking off Chris right there. The very, very edge of that Ziggs ultimate. Not quite fast enough. And with that, it's 2 kills for 1. This might be another push coming out from LoLPro. This is Siege Comp versus Siege Comp, and once one starts to get ahead, especially since LoLPro has the Vi, they can start reliably initiating, and they actually have a really good burst to set up to follow that up. So like they can just toss on Ziggs bombs. They can just toss on Hanser follow-up, or even just a culling, or just the Q from Laud. And, well, with vVv falling so far behind, I don't know how they're going to try and survive this because they just don't have the damage right now to out-poke the enemy's poke comp.
And those Ziggs bombs are starting to hurt. That's 4-0-4. Really strong mid lane performance there from Jackie. And as a Ziggs who's ahead, when Ziggs is behind, the least he can do is kind of just wave clear, keep the game going on a little bit longer until he can get the items. But when he's ahead, like you said, it's just ridiculous burst damage. And more than just him doing damage, it's how he does it. And it's great as sort of initiation if you want to get that satchel charge out there, but mostly as follow-up because either picking off those cleanup kills, catching out Chris, and getting that 2-kill advantage over to LoLPro.
Third dragon of the game after that.
Exactly, and this is a problem that LMQ kind of fall into. They're just like, hey, we're going to try to take turrets because turrets are permanent objectives, and they wind up giving away too many dragons because they don't want to fight them. Even if they do, they lose them out there, and sooner or later, like I said, dragons start to take over. And with a now, what is that, 8,000 gold lead, almost 9,000 gold, it's starting to get into a rough place to be for vVv.
And you can see Jackie just holding versus 2. Bomb turret does go down. This push is not going to stop. Hansu could try and set up the fight. In comes Vi.
Now going for that Sultan Battery, a little bit overextended, but there's the crescendo to follow things up. Now Tails is able to DPS pretty well from the back, and actually Heaven Time going a little bit too far. Doesn't get taken out. The culling at long range. Lod will take him down. Now a double kill for Lod as he gets out of there, and not sure where Get Snuggled really wants to go after this. Shock Blast coming in from Chris. Chris was not really in the greatest position. There's actually a Sonic Wave resonating strike. He's going to have to go for it, but not where he wanted to go. Caught between a rock and a hard place. Goes back in. The team fight goes back down, and that's a 3-for-0 exchange.
That's 3-for-0. Unfortunately, it was Lee Sin and Jace pushing in the mid turret versus Jackie, but Jackie with that Ziggs damage, that Ziggs burst, easily held them off and actually got Lee Sin low enough that he was able to get picked off right there. That was a half HP Lee Sin coming in from mid lane. So the bottom turret's all gone except for the inhibitor turret. There's one outer turret left right now for vVv, and that's that top turret. And there's no reason LoLPro can't just go ahead, barrel down towards the top lane and try and bust that sucker down. They're so far ahead. They both have similar compositions, except LoLPro has really reliable initiation, which means they just hunt down whoever's available on vVv, and vVv do not have a good response to it right now. What they can try and do is bait out an ultimate from Heaven Time with Acceleration Gate. Like if Peckinwolf gets hit again, you put down the Acceleration Gate, he body slams through that, then runs away really far, and then hopefully Heaven Time's out of position. But Heaven Time, he's got a Randuin's Omen now, he's got a Ninja Tabby now. Chris can't do enough damage to burst him down. He's going to be very tanky with the Vi shield as well. They just don't have enough DPS, and this is kind of the issue. Vi is too powerful right now, and the poke team, once you initiate hard on the poke team, they tend to just fall to pieces.
Oh, well, a poke team is what they're going to have to be because they don't want to fight this out there. You can just see how tanky Haunser is, how tanky Heaven Time is, and now going in there, it's going to be Get Snuggled so low. The bouncing bomb will not be enough. Jackie trying to throw out the satchel charge to pick up the kill. Jackie goes unstoppable, 5-0-4, and just the picks, the plays continue as LoLPro pick up their 14th kill of the game.
And it's not over yet. Peckinwolf now in a lot of danger.
Crescendo will miss, but Jackie will not. Now dominating, picking up his 6th kill, and now with turret shots coming in there, it's about the only thing keeping LoLPro away from here. They don't even care. They've got a couple of minions and Haunser, the Haunser machine, out there to take down the 2nd tier top turret of the game. 6-2 now.
Are they going for the Baron?
I mean, it's not a bad idea. There's Randuin's a little bit accidentally used. No Peckinwolf in there to steal. And to be honest, if Get Snuggles goes for this, even if he steals it, he dies, and more of the base dies along with him.
Yeah, I know, look how they're just destroying this.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that is not going to be stealable by any means. And while you've got Gaunty in there, he's looking to maybe scout things out. It's like, Baron, no, not there anymore. And that will be the first Baron, many dragons, and 6 total turrets now down for LoLPro, really capitalizing on every global objective they can and starting to close out the game.
Yeah, LoLPro, they actually have a surprisingly strong Baron team. There's lots of little things that build up. For example, Sona's passive on her Q, the Aura. That extra attack damage will make Barry go down much, much faster. That's an extra 100 attack damage to the team, because those auto attacks build up quite quickly. Of course, Ziggs is spammy and really helps shred him down. But with that Baron buff now, LoLPro, they can go and play a poke game if they want to, because they've got enough regeneration that, well, vVv can't really fight against that. However, if they still want to go for those hard all-in engages, their comp is set up for that, and generally be a little bit weaker, but with the fact that vVv is going for the same kind of poke comp, it's also susceptible to all-ins in that same regard. So back at base, I'd expect Heaven Time to mana up, go ahead, get ready for possibly the final push onto the game. Inhibitor turret's going to start falling down. vVv, they have to just get either solid pickups or really, really good poke in a range game to defend their turrets at this point.
Okay, so things that have to happen in order for vVv to maybe come back to a VV victory. I want to see poke damage really start to work out there for Chris, because he's looking towards the Last Whisper, but delayed it to pick up home guard boots, and I mean, he's almost there. That would be a huge item to pick up as far as just overall poke damage is concerned. Maybe take some pressure off of vVv by chunking out either Low or even Jackie, because this game is a deathless performance for Jackie. Nobody's been able to touch him. He's been threatened a few times, but by and large, he's just sniping off people with bombs and having a lot of just great ranged pressure and harass. This is a textbook Ziggs game from Jackie.
Yeah, there is some pressure. For example, Lee Sin could always try and kick him back. They could use a Gragas ultimate or Death Sentence, but Jackie's staying really far back for the most part unless he sees a good opening. And there's no threats. There's no one to really shut him down and kill him or knock into the enemy team. And Ziggs, he's someone who, if you let him play the backline game, I mean, he's probably one of the higher sustained DPS casters out there, especially with the bouncing bomb spam. If you land the bouncing bombs, you will win most team fights just because he does so much more damage than other mid lane champions. It's just that his damage isn't reliable. You can see Hanser hopping up and going.
Hanser's pretty happy.
Yeah, pretty happy. This game's going pretty solid for LoLPro. And now they're pressuring that bottom turret, definitely the safer option, because you can't pressure this while Baron's up because you risk losing the Baron. So now if LoLPro get one pick off, down goes the inhibitor. The game could end off this push. The game could end off this team fight.
Poke damage, you got Gragas barrels coming out there, just anything to clear out the wave. Minions, kind of the most dangerous commodity here. vVv are so scared of minions just because they tank up the turret and set up for what is probably going to be one of the craziest dives. But you don't want to dive through the turret. Turret, the sixth man that kind of turns team fights around sometimes. A lot of takey stats, though, on Heaven Time and Hanser will make them a little bit more able to dive than you'd expect, but at the same time, it's going to be up to vVv really to force this fight.
Actually, they're looking forward. They're going for the initiation. Out comes a Vial.
And there we go, going in, diving not only the base turret, but the Nexus turrets do a double crescendo there. Low will try to disengage. He lowers the attack damage of a minion there with the power chord as he will disengage. The culling comes out, but it's Tails. It actually takes down Hanser, but Laud avenges his death, blowing him up with the double guns. Now Laud and the rest of LoLPro looking very well. They trade out 1 for 1, but it's a 1 for 0 in inhibitors.
You got to give credit to LOH in that last team fight, able to barely sustain Heaven Time, who kept trying to run away, got ignited towards the end of the fight, was able to keep himself alive thanks to those Sona heals. Oh, this is rough.
No, don't do it. Don't. Okay, they're starting to maybe. Oh, he steps on a trap and there's a lantern into the bush. Somewhat anticlimactic, but it was a nice idea.
Yeah, they'll go ahead, rotate, take this dragon, and just maintain their lead. Now with mid inhibitor, top inhibitor are now very, very easily taken down because you can just wait on the super minion's bot lane to threaten vVv. This is a setup for the end. There's still no more Baron buff on LoLPro, so they don't have that really high sustained advantage, but they now have the minion and push advantage, and this is where when a poke comp gets this far ahead, even against other poke comps, it tends to be the lockdown. So they can go ahead and go top lane, just hard initiate because they don't even need to worry about some of the damage coming out. They were able to dive Nexus turrets and come out relatively unscathed, and by that I mean they only lost Hanser and they barely kept Heaven Time alive, but they still took the objectives, they still took the team fight, and the back line, Jackie, LOH, and Laud were all completely fine. So they can still go for the super aggressive dive, and vVv just doesn't have a good answer right now.
And Laud especially, man. That guy is getting off to some crazy damage. He's got 4 offensive items completed, 5 if you want to count those boots, and only 3 there really needing that. I guess Infinity Edge to come out next. That's a real big ticket item for Tails to get on his level. But as far as levels to get on, Jackie is way, way up there. Undefeated so far, 605. Chris says his poke damage is going to start to get really, really strong now. He has a completed Muramana as well as a Last Whisper down there. So this is about as strong as he's going to get in the foreseeable future. He can maybe pick up a Black Cleaver. It might help out just a little bit, but the big deal is his poke is where he wants it to be. Maybe Bloodthirster for the last item, but that's I don't think we'll be seeing that this game.
He's a bit far from that. This is probably going to be the last time we see of the game, unless vVv can hold off this push. Vantage Veil now on Jackie. Keep himself very safe. Doesn't have to worry about that cast damage. It is blown right now, but still, those bouncing bombs need to land. If they want to do this safely, what LoLPro can do is he can wait for the minion spot lane and just try and land some poke. If someone gets down low, initiate with 5 then. But if not, just go ahead and wait for the minions, and you'll find that opening. That opening will reveal itself. If not, vVv starts losing Nexus turrets, which is you cannot lose Nexus turrets when you're down an inhibitor like this, because you actually can't leave your base at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Once you lose Nexus turrets, you're vulnerable to being backdoored. The game basically ends if you lose just like one person.
Minions will end the game reliably on their own. Super minions will just destroy your turrets, no questions asked. They're okay with it. They're fine with it. Now Hanser
is going way in there for the dive. There's a follow-up from Heaven Time. Not really over-diving just yet. Death Sentence does not land, but all they need is some time with that turret, and that's going to be more than enough. Actually, whoa, the Ignite goes down, heals. Is it going to be enough? Heaven Time does survive, gets snuggled alive there as well, flashes away from the Ardent Blaze. It's not quite the scariest spell you could come up with, but everybody alive. LoLPro really overdiving their welcome there. We'll back out.
Yeah, the casual strut towards the enemy team strategy not working out for LoLPro. Almost did is the funny thing. Like, they're that close, they're that far ahead, where it almost came out with a lot of kills towards them. If it wasn't for that last second flash, that Ardent Blaze would have definitely picked up a kill. But still, Baron's up now. This is going to be the last chance for vVv to really fight. If they keep fighting behind their turret, well, their turret took a lot of damage. It does regenerate, but it doesn't regenerate that quickly. And it will still be low and very easily taken out in the next push. So they have to fight LoLPro on the open ground now, or losing inhibitor. They'll probably lose the game off that. And if once the Baron buff swings towards Vi and Renekton especially, that 8th regeneration will shred them to bits. Mid turret does go down. Chris will go ahead and push it bot, I believe, too, as well. So a little bit of gold to gain back by vVv, but overall it's still so far behind. It's a 15,000 gold advantage.
What is
for
Get
LoLPro.
Snuggled doing?
He's waiting to steal Baron.
Okay, that's actually a really smart place to do it. I don't feel like it's going to be the greatest idea, because all of a sudden, if LoLPro just walk down the middle lane, it's...
they actually need to Get Snuggled to survive. Like, they cannot fight a 5v4. And actually, since Get Snuggled's not there, LoLPro might actually recognize this as a chance to just push down mid lane.
Exactly, they don't see him, and anytime you're just off the map, it's not a mystery where you are. Backing off, maybe it is. I don't know. I might have spoken a little bit too soon. Now, Tails is bottom lane. There's no way they can fight LoLPro here at the Baron, so vVv need to come up with an advanced strategy.
It is Get Snuggled hides and tries to steal Baron. There he is, but ward over the wall.
Like, wait a second.
For it.
Oh, it's dropping down low. Does he have it? No, not able to steal it away. Goes down. It was a valiant effort, but it makes Lod godlike, or Lod-like as it is. So.
And well, with this Lod-like Baron, this Lod-like push now towards that mid turret, this is going to be really, really bad for vVv. That's the nice way to put it, because they do not have their jungler. They need all members alive. Lee Sin, even though if he's not that effective, he's still a disengage for Hanser, a way to keep Hanser and Vi out of the fight for at least a couple seconds. And they got 20 seconds on his respawn. I think LoLPro might just go ahead and force the dive beforehand, or take the inhibitor turret if vVv play too defensively.
Yeah, and exactly. It's all about how you play. We've got, Flash out there. There's the culling onto Chris. Ace in the hole comes out there as well, but Chris was not afraid there. He knew he had that burst damage, and really starting to get to that really scary place. But chasing down Lod, I mean, it's a good idea because he's godlike, but it's not going to stop the rest of LoLPro from taking down your inhibitors and pushing your base. Well,
I could see the plan. Delay them, go ahead, go for the split push. Maybe they will back off, and it'll give us more time to not lose the game, which is at this time that's what they're bargaining for. But the push is stopped. The retreat has gone on. LOD still in the bot lane alone, so they might just wait for him to join up the team, but I mean, vVv have essentially disengaged, and now they're just going to be waiting it out, seeing how this will turn out. Now, coming into this matchup, it was actually, I think, 70% to 30%. Only 30% of people believe vVv, but I don't know, 70% of you guys out there thought LoLPro was going to take this home, and you're looking pretty right so far. It was very even through most stages of this game, but with Chris hitting that power spike maybe a little bit too late, be interesting to see what this last hurrah is going to be from vVv, because things keep going the way they are. LoLPro are just going to push in for a win. Yeah, and LoLPro really only delaying because of that really good split push from vVv, and it wastes time. If they can waste the Baron buff, maybe, just maybe. At this point, LoLPro's trying to get 6-itemed, which means they're no longer gaining strength through gold. Lee Sin looking for another Dragon Seal. Hasn't really been successful in the past. Might pick one up, but actually just going to go ahead and turn onto him. They
Why
do
would
get the
you
death
try
sense,
to... Oh, he kicked him over the wall, and that's going to be a perfect pickoff. There's an attempted save, and there's the Mega Inferno Bomb out there. Ace in the hold. It comes out, but it's just not enough. Jackie will finally take down the Dragon, but gosh, that was close. A nice Dragon's Rage kick there Almost took out Heaven Time, but to be honest, Get Snuggled was a little bit more in the danger zone. Both junglers make it back, but once again, another dragon. That's 5 dragons now for LoLPro. 2 Barons, and of course the 7-4 turret lead.
Yeah, no objectives for vVv. They just cannot get across the map. It's up to the Lee Sin Seals. And LoLPro, that was a smart thing to do. Turn around and try and go for a kill, but you know, it happened earlier. Heaven Time died over the wall. So they actually really need to not risk that. With the heavy initiation onto Heaven Time. Last time, though, he didn't actually quite make it over the wall. He just died in the Dragon Pit, so I guess that was a safeguard when he actually made it over the wall. Still, this top turret now being pushed in. Should have healed a lot of its damage. Should still be kind of low, taking maybe 300, 400 at this point, as the regeneration did stop a little bit, but not everything that's been dealt so far. Most of LoLPro has healed the full from that Baron regeneration, and they're just looking for the pokes. They're looking for a little bit of a safer dive. They don't need to go ahead and risk anything, as they've already taken out the Bob inhibitor. They can just wait and look for that sweet spot where it'll just be an easy inhibitor turret and easy victory to the game.
Banshee's Veils were broken, but they'll be coming off that 25-second cooldown here in just a second. And if once those come up, that denies the possibility of like J-Spoke Death Sentence though onto Heaven Time, barrels to come out. There's actually an explosive cast going to start this fight off. Turret will go down, Haunts are in there, but oh my gosh, Peck and Wolf and Chris very low here, and with an ace in the hole, not going to land on the Haunter in the back lane. Probably still wouldn't have killed him. That's the top inhibitor going down. LoLPro take it deathless and back away.
It's awesome Baron generation as well, so going to rotate towards the mid lane. Possibly might back on out. They don't have minions to tank this up, but they just have their own faces to tank it up actually. It's a full HP turret, so it's something hard to take down. Actually, they might just get chased out for this. They might get punished. Heaven Time's so low.
Oh, but Get Snuggled can't really run through the culling. Does decide to go in. That's not going to work out. It's a double kill for Laud. The crescendo will hit onto Chris. He's going to go down. Assault, battery, kill there at 1 by 1. A quadra. Where's the penta? Can't dive in onto Peckinwolf or Penta Wolf, but he's not going to give that one away.
Yeah, Penta, I mean, he'd actually just be suiciding to give that Penta away. Unfortunately for Alad, he just has to go ahead and go for the Quadra, which is still an incredibly solid pickup. But with that, 4 members down for vVv. The next turret goes down to minions as well. This game is not long for this world. Out comes a cast, does take people low, but not picking up any kills.
Oh, and he was trying to land that onto Renekton, maybe trying to bust out LOH, but wasn't quite able to take it down with the Nexus under fire. That is, was almost going to do it for the game. Yeah, Law just going to finish the job there. And finish taking it out. Nexus falls, and vVv will drop down there to LoLPro. So LoLPro, they've been gone for a while, been having some LAN victories on the road, some online victories in NACS, and now 2-0 on the day. LoLPro coming back and doing very well against vVv. That's going to be the last game of the day. One quick note before we leave. You might see an announcement floating around in chat. Super Team NA has officially disbanded, and they will be being replaced now by Lion Gaming. So if you guys are fans of one of the best Latin American teams out there, it's going to be really great to see them play, and they will be joining us starting, I believe, tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So be seeing some new faces here in NACL. It'll be very exciting to watch them play. And so if you guys are interested in that, make sure to come back. But I think that's gonna be all for today.
But tomorrow we got some pretty hype matches coming up. So first of all, Curse Academy versus LoLPro, sister teams going at it. It's gonna be our game 1. Afterwards, Complexity Black going up against not Super Team NA, but now Lion Gaming. Afterwards, Cognitive Gaming versus Cloud9 HyperX Tempest. Email Support versus vVv, and LMQ going up against Team 8. I'm really excited for that match because Team 8's been incredibly solid. And
Team 8's been really hot. LMQ maybe wavering a little bit.
But, I mean, they won their game today, and they look pretty good towards the end. The early part, maybe not so much, but they had that end game down. So really exciting matches all across tomorrow.
And that's going to be coming up 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys are out there and want to make a note on there, or just check out like esportcalendar.com. They've got a lot of great timers out there for all of the esports events out there. Make sure to check them out, and we hope to see you back here tomorrow. So on behalf of myself, Studio, EGAT, you can check out all of our social media links here and in chat. Make sure to follow us because we like talking to you about League of Legends. Also, if you want to use the hashtag NACL on Twitter, we'll also respond to any sort of comments you had about today's broadcast. Let me finish my outro. On behalf of all of us here at NACL Studios, our live production crew, and everybody else involved, do want to thank everybody for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.